Well, we're underneath the hood of our 1963 little Chevy Nova, little Nova 2, Chevy 2. It is a crate 350 4-bolt Chevy engine, and it has an Edelbrock intake manifold on it, a Carter or Edelbrock AFB carburetor, finned aluminum valve pan covers that are polished on the sides, argent through the center, you know, rough finish between the fins. Does have power brakes, new dual stage master cylinder, which is also chromed. They chromed. Power brake booster, chrome air cleaner, of course, to go with the rest of the chrome plating on the car. Does have a fuel pressure regulator. It has a fuel gauge on it telling you the amount of pressure that's being applied from the pump. Very expensive billet aluminum drive system in the front. It is a serpentine drive system that has a billet aluminum on the vibration dampener, the water pump, the alternator, and the air conditioning compressor, which is also chrome plated, by the way, as is the alternator. Aluminum water pump. This car is just as nice as you'd ever want to find one. It has a Be-Cool 4-pass aluminum radiator with dual electric fans on the back of it here to keep this guy cool for you. Set a nice big tube headers on it. Has a aluminum overflow reservoir can with it. All nice polished aluminum lines that go with the air conditioning system. Brand spanking new air conditioning condenser in the front. Little shut off for your battery right here. Brand new battery in it. I can't see a thing under this engine compartment that isn't completely over the top done. It has a real high-end type of silicone plug wires on it, a high voltage coil that goes along with it. It looks like a new billet aluminum distributor of some sort. I think it's MSD, but I'm not sure. The car's never been bumped anywhere. The radiator core support is just as nice and new as it was in 1963. Dual horns on the front of it. I can't see a single thing out of place under here. It does have the heat lines also for the passenger compartment, as well as air conditioning, of course. New shocks in the front. Everything is done in a semi-flat black finish underneath the hood. Every little detail has been paid attention to on this car, even as far as, instead of regular bolts, they're using stainless steel socket head bolts and washers to fasten the front fenders to the inner fender panels. Fantastic, fantastic engine compartment. It's making some real serious horsepower. It is an automatic. And again, every detail has been paid attention to in this engine compartment. Let's see what we have in the rest of the car. Hi, you're in Daytona Beach at Hanksters. And today we're going to present to you a really neat car, 1963 Chevy 2 or Chevy Nova. Fantastic, fantastic car. Came out of a estate, and the car was owned by an old elderly gentleman that just paid every little attention to detail on this vehicle. Didn't realize how nice this car was, actually, until I started going over everything on it. Well, let's go over it together, and we'll try to present it to you. The fitment of the hood, obviously, it's a 2-inch rise cowl induction hood, which would obviously not been stock on a 63 Nova. Adds a lot of flair to it, a lot of look to this car, instead of having just a plain flat hood on it. 2-inch rise cowl induction hood, just like a Camaro would have. Nice gap the whole way around, both sides, and across the cowl area also. The paint on this car is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, absolutely stunning. There's no marks or chips or anything anywhere that I can see on the car. All the fitment has just been really paid attention to detail-wise. Aluminum around the headlights. And the grille itself, it appears to be brand new. There's no marks, no deterioration whatsoever on it. Filler panel, painted black to match the size of the car. Chrome on the bumper is just absolutely phenomenal. Bumper fitment is absolutely spot on. There's no way that you could make this bumper fit any better than it does now. Nice clear parking light lenses, amber. No marks or chips or dings in the front of the bumper at all. Absolutely none. This car is very, very straight on the nose here. I can't see a single thing on this vehicle that's out of place. The grille lines up as it should, as does the bumper. All the trim around your headlights. The car's fantastic on the nose of it. Let's see what we can find on the passengers and the driver's side first for you. Okay, down the driver's side of our little Chevy Nova, little Chevy Deuce. Wow, there's trim around that wraps around from the parking lights in the front. Nice roll up on the inner part of the fender well. Nice fitment door to cowl to fender. Look at this. This is as nice as you're ever going to find. And this stripe, by the way, is painted on. It's painted, and then the bottom part of the car is painted black. Trim around the front windshield. No marks or dinghies in it, absolutely none. Correct style arms, argent colored blades. I think these are originally supposed to be polished stainless as the arms are, but at any rate these are argent instead of being polished stainless. Tinted windshield in the front. Dashboard, very, very spectacular in this car. It transitions onto the base of the windshield, nice and thick, custom built padded dash on this car. Great addition to it. It's just as nice and new and fresh as you could ever hope to find one. Of course, the roof doesn't have a mark or a single imperfection in it anywhere. It's just really as nice as you can get. Check this out. Absolute flawless installation of this drip rail. There's not even a little minute deviation on anything looking down the side of that drip rail. Correct style GM bow tie mirror on it. Nice soft rubbers around the wing area. The chrome around the wing is absolutely like new. Tops of the doors. The window wipes, again, are just as new as they could possibly be. Door handle the same way. Tell you what, this is as close to a show quality car as you could get. Same thing with the wipes, blisters in the back. There's absolutely no problems with them. Again, the door to the rocker panel to the quarter panel, look. There's absolutely no deviation whatsoever. Perfectly fit. Absolutely perfectly. Sail panels, they're small, but they're there. Really nice on the car. Trim around the back window. Again, the hat rack itself, the shelf in the back, is just spot on. It could possibly not be any better than it is. It's just absolutely fantastic. Has two aftermarket speakers. Does have an aftermarket sound system in it. Okay, quarter panel. All tin. All tin. No Bondo, no issues whatsoever on it. Quarter panel on this car to the door to the front fender. You could take a laser and run it down the side of this and it would not deviate at all. Absolutely not. 17-inch argent centered machined outer rim torque thrust style wheels on this car. Of course, a lot larger ones in the back than we have in the front. Adds a lot of pop to it. Does have ventilated discs in the front, drum brakes in the back, but there are discs in the front. A lot of attention paid to the detail of this vehicle. Unbelievably solid, nice, straight-looking car. Can't believe how nice this car is straight-wise. All right, let's go out back, see if we can find something there for you. Okay, back end of our 1963 Chevy Nova. Chevy Deuce. Again, look at the fitment of this rear deck. Same as the hood in the front. And the paint on this, very, very difficult for you to determine from the video, but the paint is just absolutely stunning on this car. There are absolutely no marks, no imperfections in it whatsoever. Back end of the car is just as straight as you could possibly get. The bumper fitment, just like the front, spot on. Little tail light, backup light assemblies, trimmer on them is brand spanking new, nice shiny lenses in it. Again, the chrome on the bumper is just exemplary. There's no deviations to it, no scratches, no marks, no pits, nothing. It's as nice a chrome as you'll ever find on any car. Back end of the car is absolutely as nice as you could possibly find. It says SS in the back. The car is not an original SS car to start life, but it certainly surpassed an SS back in 1963 at this point. So let's go on the passenger side and see what we have. Okay, passenger side of our 63 Chevy Deuce. That's as big a tire as you're going to fit on there. There's about 1/4 of an inch clearance from the tire to the fender well, but it is not touching, so I guess we're good to go. Again, quarter panel on this car, just laser straight down the sides. Trim around the back window, same as the other side. No marks, no deviations whatsoever on it. This is amazing. It's totally amazing. That drip grill is as straight as I've ever seen on any vehicle, ever. Wife's whiskers, same as the other side, brand new. Door fitment on this side to the quarter, to the door, to the rocker panel, absolutely no deviation, none. Perfect chrome on the door handle again. Right hand mirror, great addition. Trim around this wing, nice resilient rubber. Bow tie on this mirror too. Paint on the door. It's absolutely, I mean, I keep repeating myself, absolutely as nice as can be, but that's what it is. I can't find anything on this car, nothing. Fitment of the header panel to the door, to the fender, to the hood. Look, door to the front fender. You know what? I just went over this entire car. You just watch me do it. I couldn't find a little mark, a little deviation, a chip, a scratch, anything out of place. If there was a spot anywhere that would stick out, I couldn't find it. There's none in the trim. There's none in any of the software on the car. There's none in the paint. The paint's just absolutely stunning. Just as nice on the sides as it is on top. Got a red and black two-tone car. Little things that I noticed from going around this car. The rear hatch shelf isn't just a hatch shelf or a rack or whatever you want to call it. It's covered with leather. It's real leather. The dashboard itself is hand-stitched leather, not just conventional plastic pad on the dash. It's hand-stitched leather for the dash pad on this car. The entire interior of this car is all leather. Front seats, back seats, no plastic on any of them. Not on the bolsters, not on anything. It's all hand custom done black leather. This car is as nice a Nova as I've ever seen in my entire life. Driveline's all new in it. It is an automatic. I haven't been underneath the car yet, so we'll see what it looks like when we do that presentation, but I'm sure it's going to at least equal what's on top. We are going to do a video presentation of the interior for you. This is a car that you really need to take a look at if you're in a first-generation Chevy Nova. This car is as straight and nice an example as I've ever seen, ever. It's a two-door hardtop. It didn't start life as an SS, but like I say, it certainly surpassed the SS credentials that were there in 1963 at this point. It does have a Crate 350 in it. The paint is just exemplary. I wish you could see in the video what I see with my eyes looking over this thing, because the car is just over the top. Take a look at it. It's available on the Hanksters website in Daytona Beach, Florida. Well, we're in our 63 Chevy 2, our Chevy Nova. The interior of this car mimics the outside. Everything is done in a blend of red and black. Black on the sides on the outside, red on top. We have a blend of red and black on the interior to match it. It has a red headliner in it instead of a black one. This one is red. Tight as a drum, as you can see. Black sun visors. The dashboard is hand-stitched leather. Not plastic, vinyl, but leather. That's what's on this dashboard. Leather, hand-stitched steering wheel in it. The seats are not vinyl. Every part of them is leather, not vinyl. And the same with the back seat and the hatch shelf. It's all leather. The carpeting is nice, original equipment style black, cut pile. It's as nice as you'll ever find. Car does have air conditioning, and it's put in very tastefully. Vintage air system with the dash mounted vents underneath the dash instead of putting holes in the dash. Has an original type GM radio in it, but it does have a modern sound system in it. Does have a B&M shifter. Must be some sort of a higher end one, because most of them don't look like this with the chrome and the attention to detail that this one has, and the shifter. Nice addition to the car. The gauges, there's a tachometer, a speedometer, and a quadrant of gauges. Oil, fuel, amp, and temperature. All the knobs on the dashboard are absolutely as they were when they were new. No fading whatsoever, no milkiness in the rear view mirror. Seat belts, front and rear in this car. Retractable seat belts, front and rear. Door panels are red to match the red headliner, and the trim around them is black. All the appointments on them, your door handles, your window cranks, everything is as it was when it was new. Absolutely no issues whatsoever with it. This car is so over the top quality-wise. People just don't normally use real leather in 63 Chevy Novas. This guy has it. Has a new drive line. It has a phenomenal look, fit, finish, everything. We just went over everything for you. We're going to get under it and do a test drive, and we're going to see what we have. I'm sure the undercarriage is going to be phenomenal like the rest of the car. But it's a car that if you're in the market for a first-generation Nova, you really have to take a look at this car, because this thing is no BS as nice a Nova or any car as I've ever gone over. This is a fantastic vehicle. It's here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach. Wipers functioning. They are working. Let's see. Radio? I don't know how to turn this stuff on. Well, I'm sure it works, but I don't know how to turn it on. Tachometer is definitely working. Oil pressure gauge is working. Temperature gauge is coming up just like it should. We have a little over a quarter of a tank of gas, and we're about 14 volts. So those are all functioning. So we have turn signal. Let's try turn signals. Left turn signal is functioning. Right turn signal is functioning. No horn. Or I haven't figured out where it's at. One of the two. But it's not working from the steering wheel. But other than that, everything else in this car is so top end and so top shelf, I can't believe it. Fantastic car. Let's go for a ride, see what it runs like. Look at this. Steering just as absolute tight as the drum. Let's see. On the edge here a little bit. Okay, look at this. No hands. Just absolutely straight as an arrow. It does not get any better than that. It's absolutely fantastic. Let's try brakes, no hands. Brakes, no hands. Down to a stop. Fantastic running car. Nice firm shifts. Nice strong running car. Nice straight, tight. Look how tight the steering is on this car. Real precision. car's so nice. If nobody buys it, I'm going to buy it myself. I can't believe I said that, but the thing is so nice. I can't believe how nice this car is. Look at this. I mean, the brakes, the steering, everything about it, the fit, the finish. Where else are you going to find a leather dashboard? Jesus. It's like my Porsche or my Ferrari. The dash in it. Jesus. We're underneath our 63 Chevy Nova. This car's totally amazing. It's totally amazing. The more I look at it, the more I respect it. It's really a fantastic, fantastic car. Heavy-duty sway bar in the front. Disc brakes ventilated in the front also. New calipers, new hardware for them. Tie rod ends are new. Has a high capacity, I'm going to call it about an 8.5 quart pan with a tunnel through it for your steering arm. New Pitman arm. New idler arm. The converter also is new. It's a purple one, I don't know what that indicates, but it does have a new flywheel and a new converter with it. You can see the tranny's been out and also rebuilt. And we did state already that this is a brand new crate 4-bolt Chevy 350 that's in it now. Has a high torque starter, the original equipment style, cooling lines going toward the big 4-pass aluminum radiator up front. Does not have a shield over the flywheel or torque converter, which is real common for any of these cars that we have in the South here. They let that off so that it dissipates the heat. Tried to keep that transmission fluid as cool as you possibly can. In this case, they just leave them off in the South. There's no reason to have them, no salt and cinders or slop and snow and everything down here to subject it to. Let me see, I'm going to say 1 3/4 long tube headers, 3-inch collector going into a 2.5-inch pipe, going into a 2.25-inch pipe. Again, turbo tranny in it. Floor pans in the front are totally undisrupted. Original undercoating in places on them yet. This car's totally amazing. It really is. The originality on this thing. And plus being modified to the point that it is. Again, the substructures, no dents, no marks, no nothing whatsoever through the years from jack stands. The substructures on your floor pans, they're the same way. No one has attempted to put a jack on them anywhere that I can see anyway. And again, they appear to be the original floorboards and the original rocker panels where they transition together. Again, 2 1/8-inch pipes. I'm jumping all over the place here. I'm confusing myself. No leaks whatsoever on the transmission or the engine or the bell housing area. You can see everything is absolutely bone dry on it. Or the speedometer housing, tail shaft, anything. Everything is nice and fresh and, at this point anyway, leak-free. It is a collector car, it is an older vehicle, so you know at some point in time you're going to find a drip on the floor, but it just goes with the territory. At this point there are none. Parking brake cable, original and still intact and functional. Brake lines have been replaced on the car, at least partially. Yeah, at least partially they've been replaced. The fuel line's been replaced on it. So far, we're halfway back through this car, and I can't find a single thing. A lot of originality in all the floor pans, all the substructures. You can see mechanically there's absolutely no leaks, no seepage whatsoever. There's not even a wet spot anywhere on any of this stuff. The headers are nice. There's no rust or deterioration on them. It does have a crossover pipe. It looks like about a 1.25 inch, 1.5 H pipe in it to help even out the exhaust pulses on this thing. Gives it a little bit more power, a little bit more snot in the mid-range. We're halfway through it and I haven't found a single thing. You just did it with me, so let's do the other half, see what we can find there. Okay, second half of our little Chevy Deuce, 1963. Flowmaster mufflers, again 2 1/4 pipes, 2 1/8 pipes. 2 1/8 pipes, looks like 2 1/8 pipes also going out, transitioning down halfway between the bumper and the back of the rear wheel. Kind of hidden underneath there, but they're there. Chrome tips on them also, by the way. Monoleaf spring, the way these cars came, that's just the way they came from the factory. Nice curvature, nice arch to the spring yet. Does have a set of coil over newer shocks in the back, which I forgot to mention. There are coilover shocks in the front of this vehicle also. Drum brakes in the back, discs in the front, 10-bolt heavy-duty Chevy rear end in it. Floor pans in the back, you can see, are absolutely as new as can possibly be. Still retain a lot of the old original splatter sound deadener that GM and all the companies did at that point in time. You know, for sound deadener, it was considered undercoating. It really wasn't. It was a sound deadener material. It was very fibrous. Drop downs in the quarter panels still have the original pinch marks on them, just as nice as you'd expect from an original car. The subframes in the back transition from the spring area, the torque area in the front of the spring, the whole way to the rear of the vehicle. The bar that goes across and that joins them in the back is totally unpulled and undisrupted. There is absolutely nothing. Trunk area, totally undisrupted the same way. No one's messed with anything structurally on this car that I can determine, at least at this point. Does have an original equipment style gas tank in it, but it's new. The bands holding it in place appear to be stainless, and they're new. The tank, I can't determine if it's stainless or just galvanized, but it is a new gas tank in the vehicle. So we just went through this entire undercarriage, and I can't find a single little thing. I can't find a mark on the subframes. I can't find anything that's been altered or any deviations on the floor pans themselves. It's got a fantastic exhaust system. It's got a real deep oil pan, probably an 8.5, maybe even a 9-quart pan in this vehicle, and there's absolutely nothing. This car is as nice a first-generation Nova as you will ever find anywhere. And I just went over this entire vehicle. The only thing I didn't do is drive it yet, and I couldn't find a single little minute thing to complain about. So take a look at this one on your Hanksters website.